everybody, and welcome to this new edition of Against the Ropes. And once again, my partner in crime, Big Yuli Monster Diaz. Man, it was a great weekend of combat sports. Tell me all about Kaseya Center and UFC.
I was there live. You know, UFC came down to Miami, amazing night of fights, but I have to say that the person who got the biggest, craziest pop from the crowd was Donald Trump. As soon as he walked in the building, the thing erupted, went wild. I was like, who's down there? And you see, you know, it's on a big screen, the orange hair walking across. Donald Trump came by and killed the crowd, man.
Was he there from the beginning or when
No, he got there closer to the main event. The crowd was already going crazy. He came in, it popped even louder. It was amazing. You know, it was awesome to see. It was awesome to be in the building. I was there with my kids. They loved it. Every fight was great that night. And, you know, I put a couple bets here and there on, you know, I never bet too much. Put a couple dollars here and there, and
Did you make money?
Some of the guys came through for me.
We talked about this.
Yeah.
You made very clear that you had a few people that were, you know, like in your crosshairs, that you
Yeah.
knew that they were going to do well.
Yeah.
Of course, I was in Puerto Rico. We'll talk about that later. But I got a chance to see the highlights from Chandler's fight. And Pimblett did an outstanding number, finishing the fight before the final bell. But I got to tell you, that was a nasty cut. And the fact, you were there. I don't know if you guys know, but it was ground and pound. There was an awful cut, and then ground and pound, and he was just going, Pimblett was going at it.
Yeah.
How long is long enough for the fight to be called off?
You know what? Paddy the Baddy, man. He did such a great job against a true veteran. You know, Michael Chandler, he was the Bellator champ, came over to UFC, fought the top dogs. Enough's enough is hard to call as a fighter because when you're in it, there's always something in your mind that you're going to get out of the situation you're in, you know. But it was a tough one to see Chandler in that situation, especially because Paddy's longer.
Yes.
You know, he was sharp with the elbows. He had ground control at all times. He was on top of him, you know, with full mount on him the whole time. He was dropping elbows, dropping punches.
And
Referee
that-
was in close.
Did you see, just a parentheses, because of course I had the luxury of watching it on super slow-mo.
Right.
Because I saw it the next day. And it was the blood like spurting out every time. And it was hard. It was not, I'm going to tap you.
Yeah.
It was hard.
It was.
He
It
was
was.
going down hard on that.
It was.
That's why I say, when is enough enough?
Well, you know, that's the fight game, and it's up to the discretion of the ref or up to you to tap out or say, hey, look,
he
I'm
wouldn't
done.
tap out.
He won't tap out. He's a veteran. He's a real warrior. He showed it in his fight, man, but he just got outclassed by Paddy.
And the ref was close, you said.
Yeah, ref
Was
was always
he
on.
attentive?
He was attentive. He was always on it. You know, never called the fight. I'm guessing he knows Michael Chandler is a vet. He wants to give him this chance to try to get out of this, but he was never able to. You know, and then Paddy ended up finishing the fight with a rear naked choke.
Yes.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah.
But I gotta tell you,
Squeezed more blood out of him. On the
oh my
floor.
God, it was brutal. And again, I had the luxury of seeing it, you know, day after. But I understand that he was like taken out immediately. He didn't even stay for the hand being raised. He walked up, and he was actually taken to a hospital immediately.
Yeah.
So, and you and I know Chandler. I know him from the Bellator days. He's so stoic, and I think he didn't want to take away from the victory for Paddy because everybody was going to be worried and concerned. He just put a towel and walked out.
He's a guy of no excuses. You know, again, he's a former champion. He's a very decorated wrestler, and he's a veteran fighter. You know, in the UFC, in the top class of all fighters. So, you know, he didn't want to take no excuses. He didn't want to give no excuses. He walked out, went and handled himself what he needed to, and congratulations to Paddy.
Yes, great bout. Yair Rodriguez against the Pitbull.
Yeah.
My goodness, you called it. You said Rodriguez was going to take that win.
Yeah, you know, Rodriguez is a younger guy. He's very mobile, very shifty. You know, he's all over the ring with these crazy kicks. That's what he's really known for. And Patricio, again, Bellator champion, a real, you know, fight vet. The guy has, you know, close to 40 fights. He's fought all the best people in the world. But Yair was just too quick, too young, too shifty for him, and ended up getting the win as well.
You know, the one thought that I had after watching him and, you know, taking a quick look, again, I didn't see the whole fight. Especially when we speak about fighters, it's not like we see a decrease in power or speed. It's one day, you're just one skip behind, one shot behind, one thought behind. but it's just that one day
That's
that
right.
everything just falls that one day. And I think that was the one day for Pitbull.
I agree with you. You know, they say Father Time forgives nobody,
Yes.
and you know, Father Time is not on his side, so it wasn't his night.
But he's definitely given us great fights, and let's talk about great fight because the main event. So, you know, we always get great fights from the veterans because they know not only are they fighters, they're also, you know, entertainers.
That's right.
But let's talk about our main event, Volkanovski against Lopes. You were there, and I understand it was electrifying.
Electrifying. It was an amazing fight. I was going for Volk on this one. You know, he came off 2 devastating losses. I was hoping for him to have his day, his comeback, his night, and he really did. He showed off. He had a great jab that worked all night long. He kept Diego back. They get in there and kind of mix it up with a couple punches. He'd take him down. He'd use a lot of his wrestling. You know, hats off to Diego Lopez. He never let up. Always on top of Volkanovski, chasing him around the ring. But Volk's jab, and again, he being shifty, and he's a veteran in there. He's fought the best of the best, and he showed why he's one of the best that night.
You know, I revert to that famous sentence in a beautiful monologue from Rocky. You know, it's not how hard you hit, it's how hard you get hit and you keep moving forward.
That's right.
So that's exactly what he did. Yeah, he was able to adjust and make sure that, you know, it's still aggression, still allowing the fight to evolve,
Right.
but being very safe.
Right.
Do you think that that's the kind of rhythm that fighters should be looking at?
Well, you know, it's a smart play. You know, he used his jab. He kept the distance. Whenever they would get in, they were trading some punches. There was a couple times where he got caught. He caught Diego. They both kind of stumbled on their feet a couple times during the fight. But most of the time he was smart where he kept his distance. He's a smaller guy, so he'd wait for Diego to come in, then touch him with a jab, move out the way, hit him again. So, you know, Volk is 36 years old. He's the first guy over 35 years old to win a belt, you know, in the UFC.
All I'm saying is,
so
good for the vets.
Absolutely.
Good
I'm one
for
of the
the
vets too. So, so you know, he played his game plan perfectly. You know, he executed it perfectly, and he won the fight.
but that's what I'm saying, you know, especially when we're talking about once you're getting into a certain age, that is the game plan. You know, just make sure you can outbox,
Right.
literally, technically speaking,
Right.
just outbox your opponent.
Right.
I had the opportunity to be in Puerto Rico, and, you know, I do influencer fights. This was one of a kind. It was El Gallo, the producer, against Arte Carde. It didn't go too long. It went 1:53 of the first round.
Wow.
And it was impressive. They both tilted the scale at 180 and 177.
If I'm not mistaken, the guy knows how to box pretty well, right? The producer guy. I think I
The
saw
Gallo
him.
well, pretty well.
Okay. Okay.
Let's qualify pretty well.
All right, pretty well.
Okay, then let's leave it at pretty
You know,
well.
for a
You know,
non-fighter.
shout out, because I gotta tell you, as electrifying as, you know, any arena can be, you know, Puerto Rico and boxing fans.
Exactly. Puerto Rico and fighting goes hand in hand.
Oh my goodness. With all respect to baseball, but it's boxing,
Absolutely.
hands down. It was El Choli. El Choli was packed to the rim. Yuli, you have no idea. It was, and everybody's like yelling and screaming. It like you
They're
can-
diehard fans over
Oh
there.
my God! It was.
Diehard.
It only lasted like seconds, really, but it was so exciting.
That's awesome.
So a shout out to all my friends, all our friends in Puerto Rico,
Let's go.
because a lot of them
The
remember
Bori.
us. Yes. Yo soy
So
Boricua.
who won? A Gallo or the
El
other guy?
Gallo won
Okay,
by
nice,
knockout because
nice.
actually he didn't come out for the second round. Arte Carde, I think he had his nose broken. They were checking on his cheekbone.
In
But he's-
between rounds, he figured like, oh, this is not for
I
me.
got better uses for my face. But you know what blows my mind? The fact that they can carry on such, you know, those exchanges. And at the end, you know, El Gallo went and said, you know, what he
course.
had to say. And of course, everything ensued. You know, I'm going to get you next time. And then, you know who was there? Edgar Berlanga.
Oh yeah, wow,
Yeah,
nice.
he was
He's
supporting.
Puerto Rican too.
Yeah, he was supporting the fighters. And then I just want to make a quick announcement because I would love for you guys to check this kid out. His name is Jean Paul Rivera. He was vying for a position in the Olympics. They extended, remember, the Olympics due to COVID, so he just said, screw it. And then he
Went pro.
became a pro. And his record now is flawless. I was highly impressed by the evolution. Again, talking about Puerto Rico and Mexico, the talent pool is so deep and so wide, is amazing. But moreover, the maturity level, because we had 9 fights, 8 of those being of pros.
Right.
You know, the 9th was the influencers. Not one fight was either boring or ugly or non-technical we're talking about young men between the ages of maybe 21. The oldest must have been maybe 26. Very young
Well,
fighters.
very young crowd.
But very, very fine. I mean, finito, finito, finito.
Yeah, yeah.
So shout out to all the talent in Puerto Rico.
No, shout out to Puerto Rico. I trained over there for a few months back in my early times of when I first started boxing, and those guys taught me a lot. They're it's their, besides baseball, it's their second real biggest sport over there is boxing.
It is. And then the ladies, Kiria Tapia, already in like a second win of her career. I always support my ladies because they came out and they did a show. Her opponent was from Colombia, also extremely veteran and seasoned.
Wow.
The level of showmanship is there, but moreover, the respect, the technical part of boxing, and they're willing to just shake hands and kiss babies after every bout.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they give themselves to the fans.
That's awesome.
And guess where we're going to be next week?
I know BKB's going to be in Cardiff, Wales. For BKB, what is this one? 30?
40.
40?
Yeah.
BKB 40 in Cardiff, Wales next week, and we got some big fights on that one too.
Yeah, well, we got to look at the list because this is a long list. We're going to have 12 fights.
12 fights in Cardiff. But Cardiff is a huge fighting, they got huge fighting fans over there. It's a big fighting city, so it's going to be a great night of fights over there.
It's the Welsh
Yes.
taking us in, hosting us, and our main event is going to be Liam Reese against Martin Reffel. You know him very well. Liam Reese is coming up with 4-0, perfect record, but now he's going to be there at super welterweight, 154 pounds. How heavy does that zero hang?
I think the zero, for him, it doesn't hang too heavy. I think he's a tough guy. If I'm not mistaken, Liam Reese is the champ. He's fighting to defend his belt. And there, that 154 pound weight class has a lot of guys coming up. You know what I mean? We got Roberto Duran Jr. in that category as well. We got a lot of guys from BKB and BKB overseas, vying for that position. Right now, he's the top dog. So hopefully he pulls it off that night.
Yeah, but being undefeated and being in front of your people, that's always like, I always ask, what's more important, to keep the belt or keep the undefeated? Or what really motivates you? Like in your case, there was a time when you were undefeated and everybody was vying to take you on.
Right. You know what? That when I was undefeated, the O was heavy on my back because again everybody was after me. But again, like I've said, you learn a lot more off losses. Not that I wish anybody a loss. Hopefully he goes undefeated for a while. He's a tough guy. He's a veteran. He comes from a boxing background. I think he has a few losses in his boxing career, so he knows what it is. He's stepping up now with his bare knuckle and trying to make himself the next big name.
Yeah, well, that is definitely a big name. You know who else we know very well, and he's going to be our co-main event on a bridgerweight division? Dan Podmore against Emil Markic. We met Emil in Denver.
Yeah.
Very stoic, big guy. And he's coming in with a record of 2-0 with 2 knockouts.
Yeah, huge knockout he had last time in Denver as well when we were there. Him and Podmore are both big guys. And at that weight class, I never see fights going more than 2 or 3 rounds.
So again, don't blink.
Don't blink.
Your guy is coming back, Tyler Goodjohn.
That's my guy, Tyler Goodjohn, man. He's a veteran. He's fought huge names. He's fought Palomino. He's fought Crazy Horse Bennett. The guy traveled from across the ocean, got stuck during COVID, made it to Miami, trained here, and he, came here by himself. No coaches, no anything. One of the toughest guys I know. We call him the bare knuckle Viking. He's making a comeback in BKB. He gets to fight in Cardiff, Wales, over on his side of the pond. So I'm looking forward to his comeback.
I can't wait to see him. And he's a happy-go-lucky type guy.
Great
He doesn't
guy.
take things too seriously. It's like water off a duck's back.
That's right. Yeah, he's a guy who loves being on Instagram, loves talking crap, loves trying people left and right. So he's calling everybody out. And this is going to be his first fight back.
Let me tell you, sometimes you poke the wrong bear.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Let's see. He's going to be facing Joe Smith. And this is a 5-rounder, so it might be a long night, though.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to that. But also, we have Dan Lurwell, who's 9-4, perhaps one of the most veteran fighters in our stable. And he's going to be fighting in Super Cruiserweight against Danny Worsfold. When you've been around for so long, and you are basically the guy that everybody looks up to for advice, for know-how, and you're 13 fights into bare knuckle, that's like dog years in the world of combat sports.
Yeah. I met Lurwell. We fought on the same card. He traveled. Again, I fought in Pembroke Pines. He traveled from across the pond, just him and his daughter. His daughter was his cornerman. He fought Cub Hawkins that night. You know, Cub stopped him with a great punch of the doctor stoppage because of a cut. But tough guy, great guy, family guy. You know, it's him and his kids. All he does and loves besides his family is bare knuckle fighting. We saw him against Jerome Hatch, which actually beat him with a quick knockout. So he came back after that, had a win, and now he's coming back for another win. This guy's hungry. He's a guy that, in front of, you know, he doesn't care about wins or losses. You know, not that he doesn't care. He comes to fight. You know what I mean? And if he takes that loss that night, at least he went out on his shield.
Yeah, and always with the utmost respect for his opponent. He's not much into trash talking.
No, he's not.
He's very much like, I'm just here for business.
That's right.
And we shake hands, we kiss babies. As a matter of fact, I remember his baby daughter after that last fight against Cub Hawkins. She was hurt, but very stoic, a chip off the old block.
Right, absolutely. And me and him were in the back, both getting stitched up together, actually. And you know, that's when I met him, and I told him, man, you know, hats off to you coming with your daughter. That's, you know, amazing what you did. Coming across the pond to come fight in, you know, enemy territory, just you and your daughter. So, great guy.
Wolf's Den, and
Absolutely.
They handled it beautifully.
They did.
And again, we're going to invite you all to join us. This is next Saturday, all the way from Wales.
That's right.
And we're going to have a lot more information, always. And I'm not going to see you next week.
I know. I heard you're going to be out of town.
Yes. Guess where I'm going to be?
Saudi Arabia.
Yes. The WBC Grand Prix.
They should give you a house over there already.
I'm thinking about it. Maybe I should move that. No, it's maybe too hot.
Miami's hot.
True. But I don't want to change Miami.
No.
Because I wouldn't have you.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, there
True.
you go. I don't
True.
want to lose you.
True.
Anyway, till next time, we'll chat.
That's right. But I want to give a big thank you to our sponsors, Takeo Labs, Takeo Farms, big CBD company. We're going to have a lot of products soon. You guys will see it on our next show. We appreciate you guys, and thank you for tuning in. Against the Ropes, me and Claudia. And we're out.
Till next time.